One of my favourite games over the last few years has been the world of assassination that is the new Hitman series. They bring together intricate level design that manages to be both expansive yet quick to go through on the first playthrough, whilst remaining dense. That means the first 10ish hours I spent on the first level for this video remained both a learning experience, one that was rewarding, and always felt that there was something to uncover as well. I've been looking for a reason to play some more of these, and I was struggling to figure exactly what and how it would fit on the channel. But after playing for a short while, I realised this sort of level by level deep dive would be really fun, and actually would help me experience the levels in a way that I haven't before. I tended to play them for certain challenges, and now I want to play them for their entirety. Quick conversation about my history with this particular game set. Played all three on launch in some capacity, but it was around Hitman 2 that I went deep. That was the one that I uncovered my great love for a silent assassin, suit-only professional mode. Basically one of the harder challenges in most levels, where you must kill your target in one of the worst disguises, silently with no one noticing you, with only one save per level, and the guards being the most aware that they can be with more cameras, etc. It becomes this puzzle box where you must slot all the pieces together to try and get the solution. I'd spend a bit of time in the level doing the standard missions to get a sense of what was possible, build a plan, and then try and, well, execute on them. But this time I want to do something more focused and expansive compared to other videos on this channel. A game that I think is some of the most fun and interesting level design, getting close to the one simulated block of Warren Spector as we potentially can at this moment. I thought a deep dive on how the levels work and why might be fun for you and me, plus an excuse to really play through this game. I'm going to talk about every component I can, the design itself, the aesthetics, the challenges within, and even the escalations, something I've never really played before. I also did reset my account for this, meaning I had no tools going in, having to unlock them as we go through. So if I have to come back to do a particular challenge for some reason, then we'll revisit it when I can do it. Lastly, I think it's worth talking about the tutorials. I'm not going to do a separate video on them for now, although I do think they are great starting levels. But even with their awesome aesthetic, basically being built from your own set of IKEA murder level things, they are much simpler with less to do. They managed to set up the complexity of the later levels while remaining simple enough for someone to just learn. All this is to say, great tutorials, but we're missing them. We're going to go straight to the first test. So our first port of call as an introductory video is to talk about the games themselves, what they actually are, and some background before we get to Paris. This new series of Hitman games have a set of levels that appear disjointed at first, although they do have a narrative weave between them that becomes more explicit as the series goes on. Each level will have some various objectives, from killing specific people or persons, to less Hitman-y things like destroying a virus in a lab. You of course can go in guns blazing, and it's not impossible to do that style of play, but it's not really rewarded in the game systems, and you miss all of the actual good bits of the game. To start, you are given a choice of starting locations, with one to start with, but as you get better at the level you unlock further ones. You get a choice of a fancy suit, and 3 slots of equipment, 1 weapon and 2 tools. The weapons range from a silent pistol to a fully decked out sniper rifle, although the second might be a little noticeable. You're often in areas that are distinctly public. Your tools go from lockpicks to poisons. Coincidentally the name of my new indie band, and with one other item being overpowered and a must take most of the time, the coin. The coin acts as a non-suspicious distraction, and it's a great disruptive tool to take people off the paths that they're on, something important in this type of stealth game. As you progress through the level you gain mastery, which unlocks several things. These vary from tools and weapons you can take into any level moving forward to specific level bonuses, such as a smuggled item or a different starting location like we talked about earlier. And these new starting locations often come with their own disguise. Think chef's outfit in a kitchen. These can help radically change the level for you, allowing some extra versatility, whilst often being essential to doing some of the later challenges. Levels themselves are segmented. You often start in a zone where you are meant to be, the public-facing part of whatever event is going on. From here you can get access to the off-limit parts, the parts where guards might be a bit suspicious seeing a member of the general public in, and often the parts where your targets are. There are different escalations of awareness to the guards, something that's essential to stealth games of a certain level of fidelity, from a little bit suspicious to being actively hunted throughout the level, or with the fun ability to fake surrender if needs be. Something I absolutely love about this game, and it's such a small point but I absolutely love, is if you cross into an area where you're not meant to be and the guard calls you out on it, and You notice and leave, they thank you and get on with their day. The last layer of the stealth trifle is disguises. These help with people being less nosy into your affairs. You know the way that if you put in a high vis with a clipboard and walk with a sense of purpose you can kind of get anywhere in life? Well, that applies here. There will be these enforcers, managers who know the face of their staff and so will see through your disguise, meaning you're not suddenly all powerful. You do still need a certain level of care. All of this combines into an elaborate clockwork world, with one piece doing what it wants. You. You have to figure out how all of the elements interact to your best advantage. I mean, the clockwork analogy falls apart somewhat when you consider that you can take out elements, you can take out gears in the system and it still keeps on ticking through. But left interrupted, the system moves in a clockwork manner. But you don't want to leave it uninterrupted. You are here to interrupt. You do this through various means, some communicated and some not. Each level will have a group of story missions. You hear a certain person talking, and if you follow the lead, you'll be able to get close to and potentially isolate your target, or manipulate a part of the level to your own ends. There is this ability to turn these off and discover them naturally, but I tend to leave them on. They are your first steps into a level, they are the initial guidance, and then you have these other parts that you can figure out on your own once you have some level of familiarity. So it's a game that has a fairly straightforward path through, but asks and rewards replaying everything. It's not just rewarding in the sense of meta progression or typical meta progression. The bars do go up, but that's not the main reward. It's uncovering everything the level has to offer, the interesting design that goes into all aspects of it. That's the fun of it. So this series aims to exercise my skills in looking at levels, how they're constructed and the different aspects of them. What goes into them, what makes them tick in themselves, but all from the perspective of the Hitman games as a series. So join me soon-ish, I don't know, when I get around to editing the videos, in our exploration of the first level. Set in a Paris Palais, during a fashion show, our objective to take out members of a top secret information agency. Thank you for watching, my name's been Billy, goodbye.